Welcome once again to another episode of African History, and today we are going to be bringing you the second part of the Benin Punitive expedition, like we promised from last week. So grab a bowl of popcorn, grab a bottle of soda or whatever it is you like to down your popcorn with, because I'm going to take you on another joyride on today's episode of African History. Do not keep it locked down, I repeat, do not go nowhere. We'll be right back. In November of 1896, James Phillips asked his superiors in London for permission to invade Benin Kingdom, depose the Oba, and replace him with a local council, a native council. And he also claimed that the cost of such an expedition would be recouped with ivory, which can be found in abundance in the Oba's palace. A month later, without waiting for approval or a reply, Phillips embarked on a military expedition with 2 Niger Protectorate's force officers, a medical officer, 2 trading agents, and 250 African soldiers, who disguised as potters, drum, and pipe band. They hid their weapons in the luggages carried by the porters. Prior to this time, Phillips had already lied to the Oba that he was coming to him to discuss trade and peace. Meanwhile, some Ishekiri traders had already hinted the king that the white man comes with war. Upon receiving this news, the Oba summoned all the high-ranking nobles of the kingdom for an emergency meeting. During this meeting, the Yase, who is the commander-in-chief of the Benin army, pushed for an ambush of the Phillips contingent. However, the king argued that the Phillips contingent should be allowed to enter into the kingdom. By so doing, their true intentions can be ascertained. The Yase, however, ignored the king's views and ordered the formation of a strike force that was commanded by Ologbo. The strike force was to go to Ihoton to go and ambush the Phillips contingent. On the 4th of January 1897, the strike force that was mainly composed of border patrol guards and some of the servants of the chiefs caught the Phillips contingent unprepared at Iwine, a village near Ogodon. Since Phillips wasn't expecting any opposition, and the fact that he didn't know that his plan and operation had been compromised, the king's only weapon, which is the pistols to be held by the officers, was locked away in the luggages of the porters. It is important to note that only 2 Britons survived this ambush, and the 2 Britons are Ralph Loki and Captain Alan Maxwell. This ambush will be later known as the Benin Massacre of 1897. 8 days later, Rear Admiral Harry Rossin, who was the commander of the Royal Navy forces at the Cape of Good Hope, was appointed by the Admiralty to lead a force that will invade Benin, capture the Oba, and destroy the city. This operation was tagged the Benin Punitive Expedition. The British invasion force, which consisted of 1,200 men, organized themselves into 3 columns of the main column, the Sapoba column, and the Guado column. Warships and gunboats approached Benin from the east and the west. After 10 days of fighting, the Sapoba and the main column eventually captured the city of Benin. The Guato column, on the other hand, took the same route that the first expedition took, where the massacre happened, and eyewitnesses' accounts saw headless bodies of the victims of the massacre. On the 18th of February, the kingdom of Benin fell in spite of its famous walls. The Benin Punitive expedition was regarded as a stroke of discipline and coordinated. In just 29 days, a force of 1,200 men invaded the Benin Kingdom, losing only just 8 men in the process and leaving behind a high level and high number of both military and civilian casualties on their trail. Immediately after the fall of Benin, widespread looting began. Shrines, sacred places, palaces of high-ranking chiefs were raided and things were looted from them, from artifacts to the idols in the shrine. All of them were looted. The king, Oba Obaranwe was eventually captured by the British Consul General Ralph Moore, and he was deposed and exiled to Calabar, where he lived out the rest of his life. 6 more chiefs were hanged at the Benin marketplace. The looted items during the Benin Punitive expedition still lie today in the British Museum. I'll leave the rest of the show for you to view all the pictures from this expedition and the pictures of the artifacts that were stolen from the Benin Kingdom in the year 1897. I remain your humble, Odofin
Massacre.